A very good evening once again. Thank you for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold and it's going to be an hours-long bulletin, so do sit tight as we share with you these news updates. In our top story, the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has appealed to mothers to be ambassadors of development, monitors and evaluators of government funds and projects in their location. President Kaguta Museveni, accompanied by the First Lady, has this Sunday closed the 4 days Women Conference for Mothers Union of Buganda in Luweero District. These are some of the highlights.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, accompanied by the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni, has graced the closing ceremony of the Mothers Union Buganda Conference. The conference on the theme "Let Us Work, Be Industrious and Convince" focused on retooling married mothers.
Participants explored various aspects that contribute to living with a purpose and integrity, aiming to promote transformation within our families, communities, and the nation at large.
It has been running since Thursday, 29th August 2024 at Timuna schools in Luweero District.
Participants were also equipped with knowledge and skills in adding value to their agricultural products.
So, both the President and the First Lady offered the necessary support towards the retreat.
Appreciate you, Our Excellency, for giving us this opportunity as women to enjoy this nation with the peace you have endeavored to have in this country.
The Bishop of Luweero Diocese, Right Reverend Wilson Chiseka, led the service.
We have gathered to celebrate the contribution of mothers and to address the challenges they face in our ever-evolving society.
As mothers, we play a significant role, as Josephine said, as the Bishop has just said. The mothers do play a significant role in any nation in establishing stable families.
In his address, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, also the chief guest, leaned on the gospel of calculations and modern agriculture.
Saying that if you have 4 acres or less,
Nga batuyigiriza nti bw'oba olina eka z'ettaka nnya oba obutawera,
put 1 acre under coffee,
ddira eka emu ogirimemu kaawa, emmwanyi.
second acre put in fruits, especially mangoes or oranges or pineapple.
Eyokubiri teekamu ebibala ng'emicungwa, emiyembe, ennaanasi.
The third one put in pasture.
He also pledged to offer both monetary and property assistance to the union with the call to put them into good use.
Wake up and get involved in chasing poverty. The government has already put in place programs with money there at every at points near you. Every parish we are sending 100 million shillings a year. Assignment of the Mothers Union people is to Okulondora in your parish and Okubanja. What happened? What happened? You tell us how many homesteads have got.
Museveni also supplemented on the call by the First Lady to embrace the available opportunities of free and affordable education for all.
The lunch that Mama was talking about.
Kakati ekyemisana.
Even if you don't think of eggs.
Ne bwe gataabe maggi gali maama ge yayogeddeko.
How about okocha muwogo?
Ate omuwogo omwokye.
In her address, the First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni, reiterated the need to work towards having a righteous society, emphasizing support to school-going children.
If children are going to school for the day, to go to school and come back in the evening, the mother must ensure that they have lunch at school. And you know, we've been talking about the lunch break. And so the mother has that responsibility to make sure that if a child is going to school and coming back home in the evening, they must have a lunch break with a lunch pack. So you can pack just 2 eggs and maybe a bottle of milk. 2 eggs and a bottle of milk can make a lunch for your child, believe me.
She advocated for an inclusive education for the family.
We should prioritize an all-round holistic education for children which equips them for the future. In situations where formal schooling may not be possible, we must consider alternative pathways such as technical or vocational institutes where children can acquire practical skills that empower them to generate income so as to lead sustainable lives.
President Museveni later launched the Economic Social Transformation Pact for this diocese. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has saluted the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, for being a reliable cadre of the National Resistance Movement. The President made these remarks during the 25th wedding anniversary celebration for Dr. Atwine and her husband, Mr. Noah Kanzira, held at the Lake Victoria Serena, Chigo.
According to President Museveni, Dr. Atwine is a dedicated and selfless cadre who works for the interests of Ugandans.
But Atwine is also a wealth creator. She has been telling me how she's doing farming, both in the village but also here in the town, that she's a rich woman here in the town.
President Museveni also thanked God for the life of Dr. Atwine, describing her as a survivor of catastrophes in Uganda.
Life is about family, as she said, first, life, family, career, wealth, and spirituality. Spirituality, and I think you should add that one also, you people, although you don't see me going to church so much, but I communicate with God wherever I am.
President recalled how he met Dr. Atwine and her family after the 1986 Liberation War.
When we linked up with Atwine, then we supported her through Bweranyangi, Namagunga, then Mbara University, medicine, until she finished. It was easy at that time to support her because she was a bright student. She was a clever girl.
The president congratulated Dr. Atwine for marrying a husband she loves, staying with him for the last 25 years, and building a stable family.
I congratulate you on getting a husband you loved and staying with him and building a stable family. I've seen one or two of the girls, you brought them home, the one who was going away to study.
President Museveni further gifted Dr. Atwine with 50 Ankole cows.
And in remembrance of this occasion of 25 years of her marriage, upon which I congratulate her, I will give her 50 Ankole cows.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Thomas Tayebwa, congratulated the couple upon achieving the milestone.
But Diana, I really want to inform the public that as who do oversight, you are doing a great job.
On her part, Dr. Atwine thanked God for the gift of life and her family.
Give thanks, and I think Bishop really touched on it in church today. We want to thank God for the gift of life. We want to thank God for the gift of family.
Dr. Atwine also thanked President Museveni and the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni, for being parents to her.
Mzee, thank you so much. Today I will call you Mzee because when I call you Mzee, I feel that's what you are. Thank you, you and Mama, for being my father and my mother.
On the other hand, Mr. Kanzira revealed that Dr. Atwine is a loving and God-fearing wife. He also thanked the guests for embracing their ceremony.
She loves her God. Those who are in church, you saw the Bibles. Secondly, Diana loves her family. She's passionate about her family. The nuclear, the one in the home, the extended, She loves cows. Actually, she loves cows more than her profession. If you have failed to make inroads to Diana, take the cow angle. She will listen to you.
Local government leaders have been urged to set clear targets for civil servants to embrace efficiency in service delivery. This call was made by the State Minister for Bunyoro Affairs, Honorable Jennifer Namuyangu, during a presentation on the role of local government leaders in implementing government programs. The presentation was part of the ongoing leadership transformation training at the National Leadership Training Institute in Chankwanzi.
Now, welcome,
Minister Namuyangu emphasized that many civil servants lack focus on their outputs, while their supervisors remain passive.
You have an agriculture extension officer, you have a vet, you have a fisheries officer, and they are all there. Then at the higher level, you have the entomologist, production officer, they are all there. So friends, let's not destroy the people. Let's start. They can start with you. Let them come and show you improved methods of agriculture. I have my land here. What can I do? How do I pay out of the farm? So that they are knowledgeable, but they sit with their knowledge. But it is your responsibility as local leaders. Implementation of government agricultural programs such as parish development model, EMIOGA, all these programs, credit facility. I know many of you don't know even that it exists, but this money was put in banks for people to access and improve their production in terms of agriculture.
She stated that setting specific targets for civil servants would compel them to take action, thereby improving service delivery. Meanwhile, local leaders attending the 11-day leadership transformational training expressed optimism that the training would significantly impact service delivery within their local governments.
Supervise, you don't inspect, you don't guide the people, you work against the government programs, then you are not supporting the owner of the manifesto. The owner of the manifesto is the landlord, the president, the head of state. He's the owner of the manifesto, he's the one who wrote a contract with the people of Uganda. And therefore, all of us as leaders, we must support to ensure that that manifesto is implemented. And this is 2021-2026. And this theme is securing your future, securing my future, securing everybody's future.
Among the leaders are Siko Kasim, Speaker of the Yumbe District Council, Batemye Toluchamuzi Andrew, LC5 Chairperson of Masaka District, Jackie Niyonsaba, Vice Chairperson of Chiboga District, and Godfrey Kasanga Mwonge, LC5 Chairperson of Chibale District.
Seeing as leaders in this country, we must be patriotic and understand of the country we are serving. I'm grateful that so far the 1 week we have spent here, and when I've been interacting even with my colleagues, they have already got some information which is going to help our district, which is going to help this country in terms of service delivery, especially when it comes on the first principle of the NRM government.
Thank the Office of the Prime Minister and General Yoweri Kaguta, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for this training. We are so much happy for this training. It has opened our minds. It has showed us the responsibilities as leaders in Uganda, most especially to us as Chiboga people. Our minds have woken up. We have known what we are supposed to do as leaders, and first of all, we have known that we should love our country. Uganda is a good country that has all the resources, but we have to fully utilize the resources that Uganda has and exploit them fully.
Another group of leaders is undergoing the same course at Olivia Tambo Ideological Training School in Kawiwita, drawn from Nakasongola, Gomba, Mbarara, Kalungu, and Mbarara City. The 11-day course organized by the Office of the Prime Minister in conjunction with the Ministry of Local Government and the Patriotism Secretariat is expected to conclude on Saturday, 7th September 2024. The training has attracted over 1,000 leaders from 10 districts and is being conducted under the theme Enhancing Leaders' Capacities in Monitoring Government Programs to Improve Service Delivery. Sudat Kaye.
The UPDF has reassured the nation of its commitment to protect Ugandans against terror threats, both within the country and at its borders. This follows a response to a security alert issued by the United Nations, which advises its members to stay vigilant and use only recommended hotels.
We are in charge of the security of this country. Our job is not to alarm our citizens, but to assure them of what we are doing, to protect them. The threat being referred to by the US alert emanated from Al-Shabaab. We are aware, as they have always been threatening our country. Silence does not mean there are no threats. However, we do not disregard what our allies say, because we are allies in the war against international terror. When we saw this threat, it conforms with what we already know. It's not that we are not aware. And for me, I would like to tell our citizens, the best thing is not fear, because that's what the terrorists look for. They seek to instill fear in the citizens. We want to assure you, we are aware, we are in charge of the situation. We can only appeal to the citizens to continue with the vigilance and alertness, coordination and cooperation with the security agencies. Ensure you know who is around you. Where has he come from? Or if you don't understand the person, at least know what is in the parcel bag he's carrying. Don't allow any abandoned bags around. Those are the mitigating factors we do. Otherwise, you can't say there's a threat, so we hide in our houses. No. That threat has been existing before.
Uganda is one of the 30 high-burden tuberculosis HIV countries in the world, with an annual tuberculosis incidence ranging between 200 and 350 cases per 100,000 people. Tuberculosis is the leading cause of death among people living with HIV, and despite being curable, is responsible for over 1/3 of all HIV-related deaths worldwide. The Ministry of Health in Uganda has today held a marathon run to increase awareness on the deadly TB disease and to fundraise for the construction of TB isolation wards at Iganga Referral Hospital.
Uganda is among the 30 high-burden tuberculosis and HIV countries in the world, with an annual tuberculosis incidence ranging between 200 and 350 cases per 10,000 people. It has been found that half of all patients with TB in high-burden countries do not complete treatment, resulting into prolonged infection, morbidity, drug resistance, and death. Ministry of Health has launched a community awareness screening, testing, prevention and treatment named CAST Plus TB campaign to end TB at the ministry headquarters in Kampala.
As we implement CAST Plus, let us work together to do the following. 1, inform, educate, raise awareness among community members about CAST Plus, encouraging their participation and support. 2, mobilize sufficient and sustainable financing and other resources to facilitate the implementation of the campaign at all levels.
While launching the community awareness campaign, Minister for Health Jane Ruth Acheng says the purpose is to collect data on TB prevalence and increase awareness.
And when we talk about integration, we mean when you go out to look for TB, also look out for other diseases, hypertension, HIV, malaria, and others that you can look for, so that we can reduce duplication and fragmentation of the health interventions.
Consequently, tuberculosis treatment outcomes are still poor for patients co-infected with tuberculosis and HIV. She also launched a TB screening van for Ugandans to know their TB status, which van has been destined for Karamoja region. Poverty is key social determinant of health and crucial driver of poor HIV and tuberculosis treatment outcomes.
Right now, we estimate that about close to 300 people every day fall ill with TB disease. So 300 people every day. If you multiply by the number of days in a year, you can see how many we estimated to have. So that's why we remain among the highly burdened countries globally.
Meanwhile, Uganda National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program Task Force has organized the TB Marathon to raise 2 billion shillings to construct TB isolation ward at Iganga Regional Referral Hospital.
And I would like to inform you that we are creeping towards 100 million mark. After this run, we are going to look at it and evaluate and see what amount of money that is also in the marathon that was held in Iganga. We want to add that together and we make sure that we start that project.
A number of medals were awarded to the best runners in the 5, 10 and 15 kilometer respectively. Tuberculosis is the leading cause of death among people living with HIV and AIDS and is responsible for over 1/3 of all HIV-related deaths worldwide.
The Archbishop of Tororo Archdiocese, the Right Reverend Emmanuel Obo, called upon believers to walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ if they are to live a better life. He was confirming over 1,000 children at Butebo Catholic Parish in Butebo District with paradise.
1,790 children have been confirmed at Butebo Catholic Parish and reminded of sticking to the 10 sacraments.
All these sacraments lead us to God. They remind us and they become a sign of the holiness of God in our lives.
During the confirmation of the young believers, the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Tororo, His Grace Emmanuel Obo, commended the trainers of the confirmed children for the tireless work done to the young believers.
The greatest people of today, our visitors of today, those candidates, 1,700 candidates, those were our hosts of today.
The Archbishop also presided over a mass wedding of 6 couples and prayed for them to live a godly life.
Look now with the favor on these your servants, these your daughters and sons, who joined together in marriage, who asked to be strengthened by your blessing. Send down on them the grace of the Holy Spirit and pour your love into their hearts.
Meanwhile, the Butebo County legislator, Dr. Patrick Mutono, was concerned over increased cases of early marriages that cause school dropouts.
The dropout rate in primary school is so high. When you start, the girls are more. But then as you go on, the girls keep dropping out. The country have got to address the issues why the kids drop out of school.
Butebo District Deputy RDC, Carol Collins Nantongo, challenged the parents to avoid violence in homes.
We put more advice to our children. They find a lot of troubles. They find bad behaviors within us at home, fighting, abusing. You can wonder what behaviors we are putting into our children. So my advice as a leader is that let us all be our job to advise our children. Let us change our behaviors at home.
Theta A health-based non-profit organization in Kamocha, Mawanda Road, Kampala, commemorated the International African Traditional Medicine Day, bringing together traditional and contemporary doctors who use herbs to improve people's lives. In his remarks as guest of honor, former Minister of Health, Dr. Elioda Tumwesige, emphasized the need for all herbalists to notify their drugs with the National Drug Authority in order to minimize health risks posed by herbal medicine. Herbalists from different regions of the country converged to commemorate the African Traditional Medicine Day, a day designated by the World Health Organization in 2000.
Generally, the population, even now in this country, when you talk about traditional medicine, people think you are talking about witchcraft. And when you use the word witch doctor, it becomes even worse. But the meaning of witch doctor is actually a good thing. Is a person who heals.
An October 2008 and February 2009 ethnobotanical survey in the districts of Nakapiripirit, Palisa, Kanungu and Mukono documented that over 60% of respondents self-medicated using herbal remedies.
Some time back, traditional medicine has been marginalized. The health practitioners could not appreciate our roles, but now research is in place. Even medical personnel are coming to train as herbalists. So I can see the future of traditional medicine in Uganda after being possessing the act in place.
The National Drug Authority started notification of herbal drugs in 2016 and has so far registered 500 local herbal remedies by various herbalists in Uganda.
The issue is now training. But now you ask that same herbalist or herbal manufacturer, who do you expect to give out your product to a patient? Is it you? Are you going to go to the garden, collect, harvest, make, promote, sell, distribute, also be the patient? No.
Guest of honor Dr. Elioda Tumwesige recalls the contribution of Theta to adopt initiatives of African traditional medicines. He says his former experience working as the board chairperson of the organization taught him more about natural medicine's advantages over conventional medicines.
The body systems. If you take a fruit, or you take a leaf, or a root, the body becomes more happier. Than when you put in a chemical which has come from petroleum products, because you have got a carbon body, got sulfur body, you have chloride body, no chemical by artificial intelligence, no take no multiplying.
Established in 1992, Theta has become a trendsetter in developing effective community health models to promote better health. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News in Kampala. Furthermore, the Banyole community has been mobilized to denounce witchcraft, but rather take up religion and hard work as the only path to success. This call was made by the Youth and Children Affairs Minister Balam Barugahara while gracing this year's Sangalo lya Bunyole Family Day out in Kampala.
The Banyole sons and daughters have convened in Kampala in what has been dubbed as Sangalo lya Bunyole Family Day Out. These are mainly coming together for development.
Our gathering here reflects a collective commitment to fostering positive development.
The session was established in 2021 to foster, among others, unity among the communities of Bunyole, mainly those living in Kampala and its environment.
It serves as a platform for fostering unity and showcase local talent.
Banyole Students Association is also among those who have embraced this activity.
We are grateful as the youth leadership that you have spared time to attend to the issues pertaining to the young people.
We call upon everyone, leaders, well-wishers, and all the stakeholders of Butaleja district to stand with us, the students who have sacrificed ourselves.
Present at the day has been members of parliament from the districts making up Bunyole community. In attendance was the Youth and Children Affairs Minister, Dr. Baramba Rugahara Atenyi.
So the good thing about forming a development association, one of it is community empowerment. These people who are doing a development association, you will empower your community through your association. You can have one voice, you can mobilize resources.
Speaking to the community of Banyole, Minister Baramba Rugahara called on them to denounce witchcraft as one of the key pillars, making them stuck behind.
Some Banyole love wasting money in witchcrafts. Stop witchcrafts. The witchcrafts don't work. You praise and believe in your God. That witchcraft you are wasting, how can someone tell you that he's going to make you bright and he sells you a tree in a market when himself he has never been to school? He has children who are number 25 out of 25. Why can't these children be the best in class? Don't be lied by those trees they sell in your markets in markets in Bunyole. Let Emmanuel believe in God, let Emmanuel work hard. You can only become rich by working hard, by being honest, and by not drinking the little money you make, but investing.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November 2024 under the theme Enhancing Tourism as Engine for Social and Economic Transformation on the sidelines of WTM London at the Rembrandt Hotel, 11th Thurlow, PI South Kensington, London, SW7 2RS, United Kingdom. For tickets, exhibitors will pay £1,000 and participants will pay £300. For more information, call +256 787 096 100 or +254 795 806 969. Visit www.eaukTourismExpo.com to register.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. In the world of business, rivers in Kasese are being exploited for raw materials in an unsustainable manner, threatening their existence and destabilizing their natural flow. This report highlights the measures being implemented to address the misuse of these natural resources in the district.
Kasese district is home to 5 major rivers, namely Rimi, Mubuko, Nyamwamba, Nyamugasani and Lubiriha. These rivers can become destructive when they overflow, wreaking havoc in their path. This is often a result of erratic weather patterns influenced by global climate change, particularly during heavy rains.
Each time it rains in Kasese district, the rivers overflow, disrupting transportation and impacting various economic activities. As a customary practice, the local population is compelled to patiently await the receding water levels for them to be able to resume their business operations.
Tourism activities are disrupted with, for example, we have the hot springs in Chibenge,
that Kiwa Heritage and also at Kiriba, Kyatumba, during the flooding waters of Nyamwamba, somehow the floods and the silt disorganizes the system of the hot spring itself.
One of the pressing issues is the extraction of sand and stones from rivers like Nyamwamba and Mubuku for construction.
This is one of the human activities that has affected the riverbanks and riverbeds, leading to severe consequences.
They divert the nature of the river. They enhance, they create ditches and gullies in those rivers, and of course it affects the movement of the water in the terms of the flooding.
The workers here do argue that this exercise actually helps the river to flow in its course.
Singa guno musenyi tetugujja mu mazzi yali badde nga yakka ng'eri wansi naye lwakubanga tuba tujjamu omusenyu okitegeera kati buli lwe tujjamu omusenyu nga n'amazzi gasobola okkirira bulungi kyovara ne buligi ekyaliwo tenaba kubikibwa musenyu.
We still have organisms, the bathos organisms that stay on the bottom of a riverbed. They are there. Plants, animals are there. So if we extract unsustainably and go beyond the carrying capacity, we shall be causing trouble.
This extraction activity indicates significant investments in the district, with bulldozers operating on a large scale to harvest these raw materials.
As for our department, they are operating illegally. If there is money that's being collected, it's also being collected illegally, because we have never allowed them to collect sand from the river. They are doing it illegally.
We have already investigated and we have already seen that there is a need to control that local illegal mining. Meanwhile, now we have authorized our district division police commander of Kasese division to do massive operation, arrest illegal people who are doing this, and also the casual laborers who are being used by those very people. And that operation have already started until perhaps we get a technical advice.
For many youth in Kasese, sand extraction is a vital livelihood, helping them make ends meet.
Sobodde okuzaalamu abaana bange babiri, omu asoma, omulala natera okutandika okusoma, mpozi n'okulabirira ku mama kubanga.
The cost of sand varies by the type of truck. A canter is charged 20,000 shillings, a just on 30,000 shillings, and a Sino truck 300,000 shillings.
Kale ekyebiri osobola okikola naye ng'oyiribye nnyo oba otuuyanye boyi okufuna ekyebiri kati ng'eyo moroko giraba yagumuka n'aba abapakizi balina ofunako 4,000 bulooka yagireese tulina ne babulooka akuleetera moroko kiraba kolaga mbu ffenna tulina okubaawo. Tulina n'abaana abasirikale wano tukolera mu ttaka lya civil aviation naye sometimes aba civil aviation abasirikale bajja ne batusaba obusuulu osanga buli motoka nga ajagalwako n'usulukumu 2,000.
If you cut a tree, plant 5.
Koli Augustine, the Senior Environment Officer for Kasese District, is responsible for ensuring the sustainable use of resources, including rivers.
Because of population explosion, people are now coming near the river, to settle near the river, which is also bad. And so we need to put in place measures to ensure that the river flows without disturbing the peace of the people.
Poverty and limited opportunities drive unsustainable practices, such as the degradation of riverbanks. Many youth lack awareness of sustainable resource use.
Let these people have a user committee so that when they damage, or if there is an issue, or if there are other people coming in to take the resources, they are taken through the steps that are friendly to the environment.
To extract sand from running water, workers exert significant energy and sometimes turn to substances to boost productivity.
Walaji bw'omunywa takuwa maanyi g'oboyagala. So ataka kola kotika kutamiza neka kuteka mu mood eyokukola. N'owulira ng'omubiri gutadde nga gukyamuse n'ofuna amaanyi n'okola n'ofuna ky'olya.
Just olenge kyalo kumichoka. Kyalo ova negomba n'olya bulya. N'oyingira amazi mazi g'amaanyi okuba omusenyi.
And remember that work is being done during daytime. That means when it comes during night time, this is the Gaza group. We have a group of youth criminals, an organized crime who have called themselves Gaza. These people move with pangas, with knives, and we suspect that during the day they would be now mining sand. Then when it comes to night time, that's when they engage themselves in robbing and killing people and all that kind of thing.
Sinti obakale na n'obongo tumanyi obukozesa naye muiza kolanga tukozesa amaanyi ne muloza tetumanyi kozesa ku bwongo tunedda tuyina emirimu gye tusobola nga tutaddemu maanyi mangi naye lwagamba tetulina ki capital okitegeera so nze kyensaba mufuneyo obudde naffe mutukyalireko wano nga muze kale tubeererawo okitegeera.
So we need to tackle it bit by bit and at that pace that cannot bring in conflicts. We need win-win, we need synergies.
In response, the district leadership is developing sustainable sand mining guidelines to ensure responsible resource use.
To ensure that the riverbanks are no longer tampered with, like you had said, we planted bamboo. Because it will be difficult for those guys, again, to enter the bamboo areas to extract the sand. So these are the measures that we are putting in place. Otherwise, it doesn't speak volumes if sand is extracted by people who don't care or by people who are not yet enlightened on how the environment is managed. Because the river is a living ecosystem.
These guidelines will also emphasize the economic value of sustainable practices.
But remember, it's quite challenging for such resources that if extracted unsustainably, it can cause additional issues. For example, if we say we are collecting about 5,000 per truck of sand, then they will think it's now an open access resource when it still has restrictions. And the fiscal policies, using money, we still use money as a control measure. For example, taxation. We need to tax so that people fear going into those natural resources. But there are resources which, when you tax, then they are extracted abundantly outside the carrying capacity of such a source in terms of natural resource.
Under the Local Climate Adaptive Living Facility, UNCDF has initiated projects along riverbanks to support sustainable livelihoods.
We are giving them beehives. The beehives, when trees have grown up, they will be able to establish apiaries, and then they can harvest honey and other bees products for sale and then boost their economic base.
Beyond sand and stone extraction, the removal of maram from the hills is another growing concern. The Uganda Police Force's Environmental Unit plays a critical role in tackling illegal activities that threaten the environment, though it remains understaffed.
Yeah, we have some in Fort Portal because of the forest and the rest. That is environment, those who are handling forest issues, those who are protecting the wetlands and all that kind of thing. They are there, but not really many. Mostly they are based in Fort Portal.
The unsustainable exploitation of natural resources in Kasese is a significant issue, contributing to global warming. This environmental degradation has led to increased floods, landslides, and the shrinking of glaciers on Margarita Peak. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire!
Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? While you were moving in, you were the 12th player. When Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Through our famous wins against Tumakunda and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder. Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because
Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
And now in the world of sports, the national football team, the Cranes, are in South Africa for their AFCON qualifier game against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa. The early arrival is to train steady fast for the game on the 6th of this month at the Orlando Stadium. Drawn in Group K, the Cranes have a challenging road ahead to secure their place in the final tournament. The team's itinerary includes a return to Uganda on September 7th following their match against Bafana Bafana. This will allow them to regroup and prepare for crucial home fixtures against Congo. While the Uganda Cranes have assembled a strong 28-man provisional squad under the guidance of Coach Paul Put, there are some setbacks still. Team captain Ismail Watenga believes they have what it takes to perform, and the Cranes are aiming for top 2 finish in their group to secure a coveted spot in the final tournament, which is scheduled to take place in Morocco between December 21st, 2025 and January 18th, 2026.
Okay, let's go. Come on.
That brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. With the team, allow us to wish you a lovely month of September and have yourselves a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.